What if your pain was never meant to break you, but to awaken you? What if the betrayal wasn't rejection, but redirection? What if the dark night you feared was the door to your divine initiation? This is not just a video. This is a light, a message you were destined to hear, not by coincidence, but by divine design. So come close now, closer than thought. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and release everything you've been carrying. The weight of yesterday, the noise in your mind, the ache in your heart. Let it go, because this is the moment your soul begins to remember. Hey, chosen one, this message didn't find you by accident. God led you here for a reason. You may not fully understand it yet, but deep down your spirit does. Something sacred is unfolding in your life right now. You're being called into alignment. But this move, the one that changes everything, won't be loud. It won't be public. It won't make sense to everyone. It is for you and you alone. It will require quiet obedience, stillness, the kind of stillness that doesn't crave noise or applause. You cannot comprehend the depth of what God is doing in your life right now. But trust it is divine. This message is not content. It is a divine instruction, a blueprint, a private revelation from one chosen soul to another. If it reached you, heaven delivered it. And I thank you, every one of you, for supporting this work. You are not forgotten. You are the remnant. If your spirit recognizes the weight of this moment, type 77 in the comments right now. That number isn't random. It's a prophetic signal between you and the Most High that you are ready, ready to obey, ready to move in silence, ready to walk in divine alignment. Not everyone will finish this message, but if you do, you'll leave with clarity, with peace, with a deeper awareness of what heaven is asking of you in this sacred hour. This is not a message to hear once and forget. This is a living word. Let it guide you. Let it return you to your spirit again and again. Because this move is for your eyes only, and your obedience will unlock everything. Now, take a breath. Close your eyes. Let your soul soften. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Descent into Shadow. You were once full of light, weren't you? There was a time, perhaps in childhood, when the world still shimmered, when the soul still danced, when love felt like the natural language of your heart. But life came like a storm. People left. Dreams broke. The ones you trusted turned away. You started to shrink, not just your body, but your presence, your trust, your faith. You began to believe that maybe the world was dangerous, that maybe you were not enough, that maybe you were forgotten. And this is where the dark night began. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the outer world collapses and the inner world is all that remains. You thought you were losing everything, your relationships, your plans, your sense of control. But in truth, you were losing only the illusions, the things you built on shallow foundations, the people who could not see your depth, the identities that kept you from your own soul. And as the world grew quieter, as the applause faded and the distractions turned to dust, you were left alone with the one voice you'd spent your whole life avoiding, your own, that still small whisper beneath all the noise, the eternal voice within. You see, this was never destruction. It was disrobing, the unraveling of everything you were never meant to carry. It was your soul dying to what it was not, because before a soul can rise, it must fall through the furnace of truth. And truth is not always gentle. Sometimes it rips through your life like a storm. Sometimes it burns. Sometimes it feels like you're being buried alive. But you were not being buried. You were being planted, and heaven was watching over the entire process. You may have cried yourself to sleep, wondering if you did something wrong, asking why God would allow such darkness, questioning everything you once believed in. But the answer is not found in the noise. It is found in the silence, in the sacred silence of surrender. You are not being punished. You are being purified, not rejected, but refined, because God does not abandon his chosen ones. He hides them in the dark, in the silence, in the wilderness, so they can hear him more clearly. He pulls them away from the crowd, so he can speak directly to their spirit. And so, what felt like isolation was actually invitation, an invitation to awaken, to unlearn, to remember. Do you feel it now? That what was falling apart was actually falling into place. That everything breaking down was actually clearing the path. You had to be emptied so you could be filled again with something sacred, with something real, with God. So let yourself exhale. You don't need to fight anymore. You're not being punished. You're being initiated. This dark night, this silence, this fire is your calling. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and notice, who are you now, without the roles you've played, without the expectations, without the masks. That right there is your soul beginning to remember itself. Don't run. Don't numb it. Don't turn away, because the descent is sacred, and only those who dare to go deep can rise again with divine light. In your suffering, you began to grasp. You try to fix, to control, to perfect, to do everything right, to prove yourself worthy, to fight your way back to peace. But peace cannot be earned by force. It is not found in perfection, nor in approval. It lives in surrender, but you didn't know that yet. You kept pushing, kept surviving. You wore the mask, smiled when it hurt, nodded when your soul was screaming, and slowly, you lost yourself, not all at once, but piece by piece, until the voice in your head became louder than the voice of your soul. That voice in your head, the one that says, "You're not enough. They don't love you. You'll never heal. You'll always be broken." That voice is not you. It's an echo, a ghost, a leftover imprint from pain that never got to rest. And the longer you believe it, the farther you drift from the divine truth. But here's the miracle. The voice of God has never stopped speaking. It's just been whispering beneath the noise. In stillness, in silence, in surrender. Close your eyes again. Take another breath. Notice your thoughts. Let them pass like clouds. Do not chase them. Do not fight them. Now ask yourself silently, who am I without the voice in my head? Feel the space that opens up when you ask that. That's silence. That's stillness. That is you. That is where God begins to speak. You see, it wasn't just suffering. It was your soul dying to what it was not. You weren't being destroyed. You were being chosen. Your heartbreaks, your betrayals, your sleepless nights, your silent tears, they were not punishments. They were preparations. The fire was not sent to burn you, but to refine you, to meld away the false self, so the real you could rise, like gold in the furnace, like a phoenix in ash, like Christ from the tomb. The pain was holy. The breaking was sacred. You were never forgotten, not for a second. God was there in every tear, in every silence, in every lonely room where you cried and wondered if anyone saw you. He saw, he waited, and he whispered, "I'm not punishing you. I'm preparing you." And now, you are standing in the threshold between who you were and who you are becoming. You are being called, not by the world, but by something deeper, something ancient, something eternal, something holy. You are being invited to remember that you are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your thoughts, your trauma, or your mistakes. You are the soul behind it all, the chosen, the called, the awakened. Now breathe with me again. Slow inhale, hold, slow exhale. Feel your body, feel the aliveness, feel the divine spark that has never left you. Say silently within, I'm not broken, I am being reborn. This pain is not punishment. This fire is not wrath. This night is not death. It is my divine initiation. Chapter 2. The inner alchemy begins. The moment the pain pierced you, something else broke open too. Not just your heart, but the veil between who you thought you were and who you've always been. The dark night is not the end. It is the descent, the sacred unraveling, the alchemy of soul that begins when all else is stripped away, when there's nothing left to cling to. The masks fall, the ego trembles, the stories dissolve, and you begin to meet the eternal. The ego tells you, I must be strong, I must be right, I must be in control, but your spirit whispers, you are safe even in surrender. You are whole even in weakness. You are guided even in the unknown. The ego builds towers, but the soul lives in the wind. The ego clutches to pain, but the spirit knows how to let go. And so, the night came, not to punish you, but to free you, to tear down the false self, to strip away what was never truly you, the identities, the roles, the validations. Because God cannot pour divine wine into a cup already full of self. He must empty it, and in the emptiness, you begin to remember you were never the cup, you were always the wine. Let's pause here, close your eyes, and breathe into your chest. Place a hand on your heart. Feel the weight that lives there, not just from this week, but from a lifetime. The disappointments, the abandonment, the words that hurt more than silence, the silence that felt louder than screams. Let yourself feel it, not to drown in it, but to cleanse it, because buried pain never dies. It lives on in the background, shaping your life in silence. But when you bring it to the light, it cannot survive. Tears are not weakness. They are sacred water. They are the soul's way of returning to God. Let it out. Feel it now. Because you cannot heal what you do not allow yourself to feel. And in the weeping, something ancient stirs. The child within you, the soul who never stopped believing, the spark that never died. It begins to rise. You begin to see that beneath all your suffering, there is a light that never left you. A light that waited patiently while you wandered, while you fought, while you fell. It didn't leave because it couldn't. It was not outside of you. It was within you all along. God didn't abandon you. You just forgot how to listen. You were looking for him in the sky, but he lives in the stillness of your soul. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy, not be perfect, not be impressive. Just be still, and in the stillness, you will feel him again. Now breathe again and listen. Do you feel that? That gentle hum behind your thoughts? That quiet presence behind your breath? That is him. That is the divine. That is you returning to yourself. You don't need to be more. You just need to be you. Not the you they told you to become. Not the you shaped by fear or expectation, but the original you, the eternal you, the one formed in the breath of God before the world knew your name. You are not here to chase. You are here to remember. You don't need to earn your worth. You were born with it. You don't need to seek love. You are made of it. You don't need to fear the dark night, because you're the morning that follows. The pain that brought you here, will not be wasted. Heaven does not break what it does not intend to rebuild stronger. You are not broken. You are sacred architecture under divine reconstruction. So now, beloved soul, you have a choice. You can keep running, keep hiding, keep numbing, or you can stop. You can turn inward. You can listen. You can rise. Because your dark night was not just about pain. It was an initiation, an invitation to become who you truly are, to rise like light out of shadow, to awaken as a divine being clothed in human experience, to walk as one who has died to illusion and now lives in truth. Let's pause again. Close your eyes. Place both hands over your heart. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Now feel into this. Who am I becoming now that the old me is no longer in control? Notice the feelings that arise. Don't judge them. Don't fight them. Just witness. This is your rebirth. This is you beginning again. Say silently with me now. I forgive myself for forgetting who I am. I forgive those who hurt me. They were lost too. I return now to the light within me. I walk now as one chosen by God. I'm not what happened to me. I am who I choose to become in God's light. Chapter 3. The Divine Surrender. There comes a moment on every sacred path where the mind must bow, where logic loses its grip, where questions go unanswered, not because truth is absent, but because truth now speaks in silence. This is the moment of surrender. And surrender is not defeat. It is the most powerful act of the soul. To say, I no longer know the way, but I trust the one who does. This is where the true walk begins. You spent so long holding on to things because they were familiar, not because they were right. The relationships that drained you, the identities that confined you, the routines that numbed you. But now, God is asking you to let go, not as punishment, but as preparation, because you cannot carry old weight into a new dimension of being. Everything you lose was never meant to stay, and everything real can never truly be lost. So release the tight fists, the gripping mind, the fear of the unknown. You are not being emptied to be forsaken. You are being emptied to be filled. God cannot fill what is already full of your plans, your timelines, your expectations. Let go. You thought control would save you. You thought if you could just plan enough, try hard enough, be good enough, you could avoid the pain. But control was a masked fear war, and fear was never from God. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment. It is the moment the leaf releases from branch and allows the wind to carry it home. You are that leaf, and God is the wind. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Now, say quietly within yourself, I release the illusion of control. I trust in divine order. I let go of what was never mine to hold. Feel that. That is the soul exhaling. That is your spirit returning to its source. Surrender means walking without needing to see. It means trusting that what's on the other side of this pain is more beautiful than anything you're leaving behind. God rarely shows you the full picture because your faith is not built by sight. It is built in the dark. It is shaped in the unknown. You were never meant to walk by maps. You were meant to walk by light. And sometimes, light only reveals the next step. That's all you need. So walk, even if it's slow, even if you're afraid, even if you don't know what's next. Because if God brought you to this point, He'll carry you through it. Not one step is wasted. Not one tear unseen. Not one moment abandoned. Your life is under divine construction. Imagine this. Your life is a temple under renovation. Some rooms are being torn down. Some foundations are being rebuilt, and it feels chaotic, but it's not destruction. It's divine reconstruction. The architect is wise. He sees the blueprint you do not. So when things fall apart, don't panic. Worship, because the breaking is part of the building. Say this silently now. God, I may not understand, but I choose to trust you. Take what no longer serves me and lead me where only your light can guide. You were chosen, not forgotten. You wonder sometimes, why me? Why did I go through this? Why did they leave me? Why did it all fall apart? But beloved, you were never being punished. You were being prepared. You were never being abandoned. You were being called. Those who carry the greatest purpose often endure the greatest trials. You're not cursed. You were chosen. Chosen to walk through the fire so you can carry the flame. Chosen to descend into the valley so you can guide others to the mountain. Chosen to become a vessel of God's light in this world. You're not just a person. You are a message. This video, this voice, this moment was sent to awaken you. You are being reminded now. Heaven has taken over your affairs, even when it looks silent. Let's surrender now, not in words, but in being. Close your eyes. Place your palms upward. Feel the breath enter your chest. And now exhale as if releasing 1,000 years of control. Let the tension melt. Let the timeline dissolve. Let God take over. You don't have to figure it all out. You only need to surrender the next breath, the next step, the next moment, and trust that love is guiding you. And now, something quiet returns. Peace, not the kind the world gives. Conditional, fleeting, external, but the peace that comes from letting go, of needing to know. Peace that isn't afraid of the unknown, because it knows who holds the future. This peace is the language of the soul. It doesn't scream. It rests. It flows like still water. It enters you when you stop chasing. It lives in your surrender. You were never meant to carry it all. That was never your burden. Lay it down now. Lay down the fear. Lay down the shame. Lay down the self-blame. Lay down the false identities. You are free. Let yourself return to the truth, to the light, to God. Even in the darkness, I was never alone. Even in the fire, I was being refined. Even in surrender, I am safe. This is my divine initiation. Chapter 4, the emergence. You've walked through the night. You've faced the fire. You've let go of what no longer served you. And now, something sacred begins to rise. Not outside of you, not from another person, but from deep, deep within. Your light is returning. But this light is not the same as before. This is not the light of the ego. Polished, performative, proud. This is the light of the soul. Quiet, eternal, divine. The light of the chosen. You are becoming who you were before the world taught you to forget. Before the betrayal. Before the confusion. Before the pain distorted your reflection. There was a version of you that danced with God. A soul that lived in trust. That knew you were carried. That remembered you were love itself. And now that you've been emptied, now that the noise has softened, that original you begins to re-emerge. You are not learning who you are. You are remembering. You're no longer a seeker. You are a beholder. You no longer chase light. You embody it. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. This is not ego. This is essence. Being chosen doesn't mean being better. It means being responsible. Responsible for the light you carry, for the truth you've been shown, for the healing that now flows through you. You walk differently now, not as someone broken, but as someone who has been broken open. Not as someone lost, but as someone who has passed through the fire and emerged anointed. You don't need to prove anything. The light speaks for itself. You walk in rooms, and the atmosphere changes. You speak, and souls remember themselves. Not because of you, but because of what's moving through you. This world is hurting, not just from war and poverty, but from spiritual amnesia. People have forgotten who they are, and because you remembered, you become a mirror for them. You carry light not as a performance, but as a presence. A soul anchored in God becomes a lighthouse for those still at sea. You don't need to preach. Your peace becomes the message. You don't need to force. Your stillness becomes the invitation. And this is how heaven operates, quietly, humbly, through vessels willing to say yes. You said yes, even through your tears, even when you wanted to give up, even when no one else understood. That is why you were chosen, because your pain didn't make you bitter. It made you sacred, the soul-centered life. The world says, get more, prove more, post more, but your soul says, slow down, breathe deeper, trust the unseen. You've tasted both, the noise and the silence, the striving and the surrender, the applause and the aloneness. And now you choose the soul. You no longer need validation to know your value. You no longer need busyness to feel important. You are being taught to live from the center, to create from the spirit, to speak from stillness, to move only when God moves through you. Close your eyes. Feel the center of your chest, not your thoughts, your being. That center, that's your soul, the still point that never left, the sacred home that holds your entire story without judgment. Let yourself live from there now, not from fear, not from memory, not from trauma, but from presence. This is what it means to walk in divine light. You are a living message. Your story, your rise from the ashes, is not a coincidence. It's a testimony. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to be finished to be useful. God doesn't wait until you have no scars. He speaks through them. You're a living message, a love letter from heaven to a hurting world. So stop hiding. Stop dimming. You didn't go through all that pain just to be quiet. You didn't survive the fire just to stay small. Say with me now, silently or aloud. I walk in divine light. I carry heaven in my breath. My pain has become my power. My story will awaken others. You are not here to entertain. You are here to remind. You're not here to fit in. You are here to ignite. You are not just a human. You are a soul on divine assignment. Walk accordingly. Let's pause. Close your eyes. Place a hand on your chest and another on your stomach. Breathe into both. Now ask yourself, what will my life look like if I fully accepted that I am chosen? What would you stop tolerating? What would you stop chasing? What would you finally allow? Feel into it. Let your body feel safe in that truth. Let your energy rearrange to match that vision. It is already yours. You don't have to force it. You just have to receive it. I am no longer becoming. I am remembering. I walk in divine alignment. I live as the light I was born to be. Chapter 5. The anointing. You didn't just survive. You surrendered. You didn't just suffer. You transformed. And now, something holy rests on you. It's not visible to the world, but heaven knows. You are anointed, not by title, not by performance, not by approval, but by fire, by silence, by obedience. You walked through your valley and did not curse God. You sat in your pain and chose to listen. That alone is enough for divine favor to rest upon you. Anointing is not loud. It does not demand. It does not show off. It flows. It heals. It breaks chains without shouting. It walks into rooms and brings clarity, peace, and conviction. Anointing is when your life becomes God's whisper in motion. It's what happens when your ego dies, and your soul says, "Here I am, Lord. Use me." Your pain prepared you. Your stillness shaped you. And your surrender made room for him. So now, you no longer walk alone. Your steps carry presence. Your eyes carry understanding. Your voice carries permission for others to heal, to cry, to awaken. This is the mantle of the chosen, not of status, but of service. Divine favor is quiet, not always riches, not always applause, not always worldly success. Sometimes divine favor looks like unexplainable peace in chaos, clarity when all else is confusion, protection from traps you didn't even know were there, doors closing to save you, stillness when others are running, tears that cleanse instead of destroy. Favor is the fingerprints of God on your path. You may not always see them, but when you look back, you'll realize he was always guiding your steps. So stop comparing, stop rushing, stop questioning if you're behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Your life is not delayed. It is being divinely orchestrated, and favor doesn't look like the world thinks it does. Sometimes it looks like everything falling apart, just so your soul can come together. Now that you've surrendered, you are ready to be used, not used by the world, but by heaven. Your hands become healing. Your words become light. Your presence becomes safe space. People will come to you, not for advice, but for truth, because they can feel that you've been through the dark and you didn't lose your light. You are the message now. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to chase platforms. Let your soul speak through your silence. Let your peace be your testimony. God will send the people. God will open the doors. God will lead the way. You only need to stay aligned, living in divine peace. You've tasted the noise. You've lived in the storm. You've chased what never satisfied. And now, you have found something better. Peace, not outer peace, not circumstantial quiet, but divine inner peace. The kind of peace that sits with pain but doesn't fear it, that walks into uncertainty but doesn't tremble, that hears the old voices of fear and gently chooses presence instead. This peace is not a result, it's a revelation, a knowing that God holds everything, that nothing real can be taken from you, that everything is always working for your soul. You are a beacon now because you've gone through this. You carry light. Others will be drawn to you. Some broken, some afraid, some ready, some running. Do not force. Do not fix. Just be. Your light will do the work. Sometimes your silence will speak more than a sermon. Sometimes your stillness will awaken what their words could not. Just stay aligned. You don't need to help people. You only need to embody truth. Your embodiment is the help. And when you forget, return to stillness. Return to your breath. Return to God within. You're not the source. You are the vessel. Let him flow through you. Let his light carry you. Let his wisdom teach you. Let his strength hold you. When yours runs dry, let's return to the breath. Breathe in slowly, as if God himself is filling your lungs. Now exhale and release everything that's not yours to carry. Feel your heart again, not your mind, your heart. Now silently ask, what would life look like if I lived completely from this peace? Imagine that, walking without rush, speaking only when moved, loving without fear, creating without pressure, serving without needing to be seen. This is divine rhythm. This is kingdom flow. You're already in it now. I walk in favor not seen by man. I carry peace that cannot be shaken. I live as a vessel of divine light. I am anointed for this path. Chapter 6. The return to the garden. There's a place within you, older than thought, wiser than time, untouched by trauma, unshaken by storms. It is the garden, the place before pain, the space where you walk with God, not as a seeker, but as a child of light. And now, after the fire, after the wilderness, after the surrender, you return, not to innocence, but to awareness, not to naivety, but to presence. This is the return to the garden. The garden was never lost. The world teaches you that you lost God, that He left when you sinned, that He turned His face when you fell. But beloved, God was never gone. The garden was never removed. It was only forgotten. It wasn't heaven that distanced itself from you. It was the noise, the trauma, the overthinking that built the wall. But now, the wall is gone. The veil has been torn. And you realize you didn't need to find God. You only needed to become still enough to hear Him again. You're home now, not in a location, but in awareness. You carry the garden within you. And now, you begin to live from it. No longer chasing, no longer proving, no longer striving. Just being, just dwelling, just abiding, walking in oneness. Oneness doesn't mean separation has disappeared. It means you've stopped believing in it. You no longer live from duality, good or bad, worthy or unworthy, lost or found. You live from union, a knowing so deep, it no longer needs confirmation. God is not up in the sky. He is the breath moving through your lungs. He is not waiting to be pleased. He is flowing through your joy. He is not judging your flaws. He is loving you into wholeness. You are not walking toward God. You are walking with God because you finally know I and the Father are one. John chapter 10, verse 30, there is nothing left to earn, nothing left to fear. You're no longer outside the gates. You are the garden. You are the temple. You are the vessel of divine presence. This is the truth. It always was. You just forgot. And now, you remember, co-creating with the divine. When you live from oneness, you no longer hustle. You create. You don't force things into existence. You birth them through alignment. You don't chase opportunities. You open to divine timing. Your actions become prayer. Your voice becomes prophecy. Your being becomes light. You begin to co-create, not from fear or scarcity, but from truth and peace and purpose. This is not about manifesting with the ego. This is not about controlling outcomes. This is about dancing with the Spirit, moving when God moves, creating what He whispers, and trusting what unfolds. You are a co-creator now, not because you are God, but because God lives in you and flows through you. You are an instrument of heaven, playing the melody of purpose, the sacred power of presence. You no longer live for the future. You dwell in the eternal now, because the only place God can be experienced is this breath, this step, this moment. Everything you need is here. Everything real is now. And when you live in presence, you become unstoppable, not because of control, but because of alignment. You stop wasting energy on what's not yours. You stop leaking power into the past. You become whole. You become still. You become a living temple of peace. So pause again. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly. Hold. Exhale gently. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the breath moving in you. Feel the presence within you. That is the voice of God, not in thunder, not in fire, but in stillness. Now you begin to live a different kind of life. Not a life of reaction, but a life of revelation. You're not running from fear anymore. You're moving with divine rhythm. Every word, a prayer. Every step, a devotion. Every day, a sacred gift. This is the life of the soul. It's slower, but it's deeper. It's quieter, but it's eternal. You no longer need to be seen, because you've seen yourself. You no longer need to be understood, because you've made peace with mystery. You no longer chase success, because peace is your success now. Your energy has changed. People will feel it. Some will be drawn. Some will be confused. Some will fall away. Let them. You're not here to convince. You're here to be, to radiate, to embody, to live the garden, even if the world doesn't understand it. Take this moment now. Close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat. Now say within, I am home in God. I carry the garden within. I walk with the Most High in every step. Let the words fall into your being. Let them move from mind into truth. There is nothing to earn, nothing to prove, just this moment, just this presence, just this God within you. You are the garden. You are the temple. You are the one heaven never forgot. I walk with God in every breath. I dwell in stillness. I create with peace. I am the garden remembered. Chapter 7, The Rising. You were always the light. Now walk as the flame. The night is over. The storm has passed. The soul has risen. And now you walk forward not as the one who suffered, but as the one who remembered. You're no longer the one wandering. You are the one walking in truth. You're no longer asking, why did this happen to me? You are now declaring, this was sent for me, to awaken what was always within me. You are no longer waiting for light, because you become it. Look back gently, not with regret, but with reverence. Every wound a portal, every betrayal a refinement, every silence a deeper hearing, every ending a divine beginning. You see it now, don't you? God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you, carving a space within, so only He could dwell there. You were not being broken. You were being emptied, so your true self could emerge, like the seed underground, cracked open by darkness, to rise into light. You were always the light. You just needed the night to see it. This is divine authority, not arrogance, but alignment. Now you rise, not an ego, but an embodiment, not to prove yourself, but to walk in what you've always been. You are not here to convince the world. You are here to be the world's reminder. You are not louder. You are deeper. You are not stronger. You are truer. You move in divine authority now, not because you are better, but because you are aligned. You walk like the chosen, because you are not chosen to rule, but chosen to serve, chosen to love, chosen to shine. You've seen death of identity, of illusion, of self. And now you carry wisdom no book can teach. You've walked through fire, so you can carry light. You've known despair, so you can radiate hope. You've faced darkness, so you can guide others home. This is not a belief. This is who you are. You are the answered prayer. Somewhere, someone is praying right now for peace, for healing, for direction. And that's why your life matters. You are the answered prayer. You are the light in someone's night. You are the vessel through which heaven touches earth. Every step you take in awareness, every act you do in love, every truth you speak in courage becomes someone's liberation. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be lit. God is not asking you to become something you're not. He is inviting you to remember what you are. To walk in light is not to escape darkness, but to illuminate it. You don't hide from the world. You bring healing to it. You don't shrink to fit into comfort. You expand into purpose. You don't just believe in God. You let Him live through you. You are no longer a seeker of peace. You become peace. You are no longer a student of light. You embody it. And when you do, everything around you begins to change. Not because you forced it, but because your presence speaks louder than your words. You've become a living sermon, a walking revelation, a soul that carries heaven, and it humbles you because now you understand. It was never about climbing to greatness. It was always about surrendering into truth. The light doesn't need to be achieved. It only needs to be revealed. And now, you carry that revelation, not in theory, but in being. From this day forward, walk boldly, because heaven backs you. But walk gently, because you know how it feels to bleed. Speak truth, but speak in love. Stand firm, but kneel often. Carry fire, but never forget the stillness that birthed it. Let the world see you now, not because you need validation, but because your light is medicine. Let your story be told, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Let your wounds breathe, not as shame, but as sacred proof that healing is possible. Now, take one last breath, in through the nose. Hold, exhale softly. Let the breath move through your entire being. Let it touch your past. Let it bless your present. Let it open your future. And now whisper within. I was not broken. I was being built. I was not lost. I was being led. I was not forgotten. I was being called. I am not becoming light. I am the light. Let those words take root. Let them rise in you. Let them guide you home. You are not just healed. You are holy. You are not just changed. You are commissioned. You are not just awakened. You are anointed. So walk now, not as who you were, but as who you truly are. Not in fear, but in freedom. Not in hiding, but in divine visibility. The flame has been lit. The soul has been resurrected. The time has come. This is your rising, your anointing, your new beginning. This is the moment your soul has waited for. Not a rebirth into another version of the world, but a re-entry into the kingdom within you. You were always chosen. You were always sacred. You were always the light. Now, walk as the flame. I was initiated in darkness. I was shaped by fire. I rise as light. I walk with God. I am the flame. This isn't just a video. This was your divine reminder. A light. You are not being destroyed. You are being chosen.